Been a hellacious week, my friend Skip.
Yeah,
I
how's
saw you
that?
guys out there. I saw you guys out there online on Facebook leaving a lot of derogatory comments questioning my sexuality and my intelligence and what I know about basketball. And you guys can keep that opinion. I was just telling you, you know what? Drake's your ambassador. He didn't show up for one Raptors game, but he went to a Lakers game. So let's kill that noise, guys. I enjoy it. I enjoy what you got to say. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now, just know that you are locked on to the point with
Skip.
and the king. You guys know SimonBroDirt.com, Amazon.ca. Go buy that book. Go get that book for your children. You guys can find him on Twitter at Dougie J's. It's baseball season. It's the most wonderful time of the year for him,
Well,
and
I gotta
I know
say,
he's doing.
rest in peace, Blue Jays right now. 5 game losing streak, just embarrassing themselves right now. Just brutal play, ninth inning losses. Anyway, we're not here to talk baseball, so let's move on.
You've been stewing on this one. There's also the other thing I was proud about you, man. You just published an article, a short story.
Yeah, so we showed this out last week. Econoclash review. My short story, "The Platform," is featured in this literary journal. First story in the book. So if you get a chance, go to iconoclash.com or downandoutbooks.com and pick up a copy of that book and tell me what you thought of the story.
My man, that's what I'm talking about. You guys can find me, King Hussein, on all social media platforms. You guys can find myself and Skip collectively to the point on Facebook and Instagram, to the point raps on Twitter, and you on YouTube, to the point podcast, which is where y'all be watching us right now. Go click subscribe, go click like. Skip, I gotta ask you, man. Right now, baseball season, it's your favorite time of the year, but right now it's also my favorite time of the year for the NBA playoffs. Ah, shoot. Now that it's all set in stone, I got to ask you, my friend, are there any notable series that stick out to you? And can you please speak on this and educate the people, my friend?
Well, we already brought out our graphics. We went over them
Let's post
yesterday
that.
on Facebook. So I won't go through each series here, but I think the one series that jumps out to me, at least for the first round, is that Phoenix LA Lakers series. I just watched the end of that first game today. It just finished about 15 minutes ago. Crazy game. Chris Paul gets hurt. Looks like he might have a serious shoulder injury. I don't even know if he's going to play next game. If he does play, he's not going to have a shot. But Phoenix showed up. They won that game. They pulled it out. They looked very dominant in doing so. They looked like the better team. As I picked them to win the series, I think they are the better team. I think they really backed themselves up. A lot of people were taking the Lakers, but Phoenix showed that they're a deeper team. They're a younger team. There's a reason they're a 2 seed. Like, they are a very talented team. And the Lakers just kind of went out and they looked old. They looked worn down. They looked like they didn't have anything left to give in that game. Now things might shift, with LeBron saying, okay, well, Phoenix, yeah, you took game one from us, sort of like the way the Raptors took game one and two from the Cavs a few years back. Maybe there's a switch that LeBron can flip and say, all right, we're here for real now. If Chris Paul's hurt, maybe they can flip the switch on Chris Paul and go after Chris Paul defensively, force him to take shots with his bum shoulder. Maybe there's something they can figure out between game one and game two. Maybe they can play Gasol, which they still haven't figured out that they should be doing. So there's lots of things the Lakers could do, and there's lots of reasons to be scared of them. But I think that game one that Phoenix came out and they landed the first punch, and they really showed that they're here to play, and they have a really good shot to take this series. And I'm feeling good about my pick right now. So that's a series that jumps out to me. I don't know, Brian, is there a series that jumps out to you?
You know what? You did mention Phoenix and the Lakers. I personally think Phoenix can definitely take out the Lakers unless the NBA referees have something to do about this. You guys know how I feel about LeBron and what they do for him. But there is one series that I'm very interested in on the Eastern Conference between Milwaukee and Miami, my friend. This is going to be a crazy series. To me, this is the most interesting series. I do have Milwaukee to come out on top of that. However, I do feel Miami will give them a good run for their money. I can kind of see that. To me, this is the most interesting, other than the Phoenix LA Lakers. This is one of the most interesting series that we are going to see there in this NBA playoffs because, dude, it's crazy, man. You got Giannis on one side, you got Jimmy Buckets on the other side, then you got their supporting cast. I think they match up very well. Skip, what do you think about that, man? Do you think anything about that series?
Yeah, well, I think it's an interesting rematch of last year. Was that a second round series last year? I think
Yeah.
it's a really interesting rematch of last year because Milwaukee went out of their way to change up their defensive scheme so they wouldn't be so vulnerable to Miami's attack. They started switching a lot more. They brought in Drew Holiday because they didn't think Eric Bledsoe was good enough to play in that series,
Mm-hmm.
and so they really spent their whole offseason, their whole season preparing for this series again. And then we saw them go toe to toe with Miami last game, and it still went down to overtime. It was still a buzzer beater in overtime that they won by basically. Maybe not in overtime, but it was the end of overtime when they finally pulled that game out. So it's going to be a tough matchup for them. It seems like Miami just kind of has Milwaukee's number. I still think Milwaukee survives that series. We both picked Milwaukee in that series, but they're going to have to fight. It's like the Raptors a couple years ago when they were just always every first round series would go 7 because they couldn't win their game ones. They couldn't take care of business. That's kind of where Milwaukee's at right now, and I think it's going to be tough for them to be that championship caliber team that they think they are if they struggle to even get through the first round.
Well, speaking of the first round of the playoffs, Skip, you and I differ on two of the series. In the Eastern Conference, you have Atlanta taking out the New York Knicks. I got the Knicks.
Yeah,
I
so
think it could be in 6. We got that one.
yeah,
What do you think?
yeah. So for that series, I think it could go either way. I think it's a coin flip series. The only reasons I really picked Atlanta are because they have home court advantage, and because in the offseason they brought in some guys like Danilo Gallinari. Um, uh, who's the other guy they brought in? Bogdanovich. I can never remember which Bogdanovich is who, but they brought in a Bogdanovich and and Gallinari. So they brought in some experience. I think with the home court advantage, with things going either way, I'm going to take Atlanta in that series. But if you bet me $51 on New York, I'd probably like 51.49 on New York. I'd probably take that bet because I think it's really a 50-50 series. I just I slightly
4
lean
and 5.
Atlanta.
4 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also another series that we disagree on: Denver versus Portland. I'm taking Portland. I know you picked Denver
Well,
to come out.
and Portland came out and they proved you right in that game one. They showed up. I think Portland is a great offensive team. They can really score in buckets and in numbers. They brought in Norm. They're a great offensive team, but they were terrible defensively for the bulk of the season. I watched a few of their games down the stretch where I was just looking at them and I was like, this is not a playoff defense. They can't play good teams in the playoffs with this level of defense.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get exploited. And I think if Denver had Jamal Murray, they would definitely be getting exploited. In some ways, this is kind of a good matchup for them because Denver can't really exploit them, can't really defend them super well. So
exactly,
maybe there's a way that they can. And these two teams also had that crazy series a couple of years ago, I think it was, that went 7.
Yeah,
so
3 years ago.
I think I still think that Jokic and Denver can pull this out. I think they're not going to go home in the first round. They're too good for that. But I do think Portland's going to give them a run, and they did in game one. So it's a bit of a coin flip, I guess. I'm still going with Denver. I think they pull it out. I think they're gonna take control of this series at some point or another.
Okay. Okay. So this is our first round of the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. Skip and I are here for you all throughout the playoffs. We are going to cover the second round. You guys can go check out those graphics. You guys saw it. We're covering the second round, the finals. We're covering everything for you guys, you Toronto Raptors fans out there, and you NBA fans out there. We are here for you guys, and we will be here. And we have a couple special treats for you guys coming up soon within the next couple weeks. And you guys know what to do. Go down there, click subscribe, click like, leave a comment. Let Skip and I know. And like I told you guys, I saw you guys on Facebook calling me all kinds of stuff, a lot of derogatory terms. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. We enjoy it. We embrace it. We love it because we know that shows your passion. You people out there that enjoy your Toronto Raptors and enjoy the game and enjoy the NBA. On behalf of myself and the Skip right there, the man. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
Peace.